Hello, beautiful people. This is Coach Lucretia Hayes Reno, and I'm making this video today because today I was fortunate enough to speak to a beautiful soul, wonderful woman, very candid, outspoken. She pulls no punches. She speaks the truth, you know. Um, and that was Sister Aphrodite Stone. Shout out to her. If you guys do not know her or have not subscribed to her YouTube channel, I highly recommend it. But anyway, I had a chance to talk to her today, and she said something to me. And I guess it's been something that's been floating around in my spirit, but I hadn't had the words for it yet. My mother and my grandmother is dead, and all of um, my aunts and uncles and stuff on my dad's side are gone. Um, and so basically, she kind of reminded me today that you are now the matriarch. You are now the mother and the grandmother. She was like, and as the matriarch, a certain burden falls upon you, but also as a matriarch, a certain power comes with it so that it doesn't have to be a burden, that you are more than capable of carrying this burden, so to speak. That's what she was talking to me about. So, and let me just say, the reading was so powerful and so accurate that it really blew me away. I have been prophetic all my life, and I read people like it's nothing, and I can't think of any time anyone has ever accused me of missing when it comes to me speaking spiritually. But with that being said, I hadn't experienced that very often, people that could read me, and the ones that I meet that can, I keep them very close. So anyway, as she was reading me and all that, when she got to that part, I just was kind of blown away because at that point I realized why I have been feeling what I've been feeling. And so along with being a matriarch, along with growing into full-fledged womanhood, there is the responsibility of teaching younger women and supporting the older women. There are responsibilities in this life, and so many times a lot of people approach this path, this certain spiritual path, away from organized religion, not because they want truth, but because they want freedom to do whatever they want to do. But this path, and I'm just going to say this, all of us, we don't have to walk a certain path to be free to do what we want to do. Anybody in the world can do anything they want to do. What we are never free from, I want you to hear me, is the consequences of our actions. So you can make whatever choices you want. Just understand that every choice comes with a consequence. That is a natural fact, and it's unbroken. Okay. So anyway, a lot of times I see a lot of women who proclaim to be mentors for the women, and they claim to be someone who's trying to help women elevate their status as women, and I see a few people try to do it for men, but the majority of the time when you get people trying to help people, as they say, there's a lot of pointing going on. It's like, you need to do, you need to stop, you, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not going to empower anyone by finding their faults, harping on them, and telling them they need to stop. See, anybody can find a problem. Can you offer a solution? Anybody can point the finger outside of themselves, but are you comfortable putting yourself in the situation that these people are now facing? I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't want to be a teenager today or a young lady today, because times are hard, they're difficult. And if there's a failure in this generation, the failure comes from generations like mine who have not put power and knowledge into the generations beneath us, okay? Who have not pulled down the wisdom from the generations before us so that we'll have something to pass on. So you got to understand, your daughter is only going to be as powerful as you allow her to be, to a degree. If she sees you disenfranchised in every area of your life, how would she even know what power looks like? We do have a responsibility. But just like I just pointed out how a lot of people are not doing it right, that's the point of this video. I want to share something with you guys. And I have alluded to a lot of my testimony many times. I've written 20-some books. I got 20-some books out. So, of course, I've written about it. various parts at various times. But everybody's not going to go by and read my book. Everybody's not going to go by and read my blog. So everybody's not going to see every video. So this one, though, I really want to get into my own testimony, because I'm not going to try to correct you without showing you how I know. See, a lot of people, they want to give you wisdom and knowledge, but they sure don't want to tell you how they know. They'll tell you don't need to do that. It's like, well, how do you know I don't need to do that? I just know. It's like, that's why your healing and trying to work with these people is not working, because to them, you act like you already got it together, always had it together, and you just trying to tell them what to do. They don't see that you can relate. Because you know what? Most of us are still so embarrassed about our past mistakes, because we are not over it, and we identify with what we were and the mistakes that we've made and the things that we've said and the places we've been and the things we've done and the people we've hurt. We identify with that so strongly that we try to keep it hidden, because we really don't think other people are mature enough to love and accept us or receive from us if we uncover ourselves. I have proven all by myself, specifically, because I can't speak for anybody else, that is a lie. I went to prison for 10 months behind being in a dysfunctional relationship, and I stabbed my boyfriend, and they violated my probation behind it, and they sent my butt to prison. They gave me a 6-year sentence, and I did 10 months of it. And during that whole time, I didn't lose a client, didn't lose my business, and the people that I would have probably been, to be honest, because I am human, even though I'm a coach, the people that I was most afraid would probably turn their back on me were the main ones that's just like rallying behind me and said, we're not going anywhere. And that's just one mistake. Over the course of these last 16 years, I've been through, 2 divorces and 3 marriages, or something like that. I think something like that. But I've went through some things all in the view of the public, so to speak, and they have not ostracized me. And I think that's only for one reason. In fact, I'm not going to say think. I know for a fact that it's only for one reason, because I did not even try to hide it. Every mistake I've made, I've used it as a teaching point. Every success I've had, I've shared it as a teaching point. Every confusion I faced, I went through it openly, and I came through it openly, so that people can track my progress and my growth. They can track who I am, because there's nothing hidden. Right now, a person can't come to me and say that they're going to blackmail me with my past, because there's no part of my past I've left hidden or unturned. No part of it. If it's anything that people don't know is so irrelevant and insufficient, it's probably something like they don't know my bank account number, and you never will. They don't know how many debit cards or credit cards I got, and that's not their business. But it's pertaining to my character. There's nothing hidden. So anyway, when I was growing up, I had my fantasy world and I had my reality world, and I often got caught somewhere in between. And oftentimes in the course of a moment, I could swing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and like all kids, I had an imaginary friend, okay, or multiple imaginary friends. Always had this sense of being watched, and always had this other voice whispering to me about what I should and shouldn't do, or when I messed up, like, you all right, I'm gonna get you through this type of thing. Okay, now growing up with a gift, having prophetic dreams from the time I was about 5 years old, growing up with this passion to know God, is like, and you got to understand that I didn't grow up with a religious family. My mama and grandma was not in church. One was an alcoholic, one was a drug addict, and they both had a lot of problems with men. So there was not, and that's not to defame them, because I want you to understand something. If you don't understand anything else from anything that I teach, none of you are in any position to point a finger at anybody else, and nobody else is in a position to point a finger at you. There are no perfect people. Please understand, we are all perfect in that we are perfectly imperfect, okay? And so it does not matter if you get rid of all the blatant, chaotic things. You got to understand that the way this life is created, you still are not in a position to judge anyone else, okay? So I can blatantly share what's going on with me, because I don't empower people to judge me. They can do what they want. I don't have to receive it. And I want you guys to understand that people can receive what you do and say in your life however they want. That's their right. They have that freedom. You don't have to receive it and begin defining yourself based upon the opinions of others. So growing up, I was always an outsider. I wasn't a popular kid, and I wasn't cute. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It wasn't that I wasn't pretty. I mean, I've always had a cute face. I've always had a beautiful body. But, I mean, I don't know, y'all. It was just, you just, when you're poor, you look poor. And poor people, it's hard for people to define somebody that looks poor as pretty or beautiful or gorgeous or any of the stuff that as women we would like to be defined as. So, and then I grew up being sexually molested from a very young age, probably younger than I can remember, but my earliest memory, I was probably about 3 or 4. It was real young, and I mean, that's about the only memory I have from that time frame. So, because of that, I grew up subject to making sexual mistakes with my body. Okay, so I I was not accepted, so I kind of got to a place where I started acting out. Well, don't nobody like me anyway. They all think I'm a hoe anyway, so I can wear biking shorts with the shirt to go to it. I'm not covering up my butt, and I don't care if my camel toe is showing. I'm just kind of keeping it real because we're all grown. And it's like, and he like me, I like him. I don't care if he's married, I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta make the best way I can. I know I ain't gonna be in the projects all my life, so long as he got some money, he ain't got a disease, we can talk, we can kick it type of thing. Now, I was fortunate because I'm telling you about my mindset, but I was fortunate that every time I looked toward a guy, I ended up in a very long relationship that kind of kept me back from being the hoe that I was running to become. Inside of me, I was on that path. I was thinking like I wouldn't mind being a stripper. I could do that, make a whole bunch of money and get myself straight and go to college and this, that, and other. I had my mind set for every kind of chaotic thing you can imagine. And so me not going down certain paths was simply because there was always a different channel put before me. And usually through whatever man I was with, he always would curb it. I always had men come into my life that really loved me and cared about me enough to always try to set me down and take care of me. But I didn't like men like that. I didn't trust them, didn't love them. And because of what I had been through. So I said all that to say this. Today, when I look at the women, they're confused. They don't know if they like women, if they like men. They don't know how to talk to a man, how to treat a man. They don't know how to talk to themselves or treat themselves. They don't know how to treat their friends. They be like, bitch this, bitch that, hey, ho this, ho that. Why is that called a friendly thing for you guys to be so disrespectful with one another? How is it cool for us to have conversations blatantly on social media about going and sleeping with another woman's husband? And why do we like to run toward various paths that take off the restriction? Because I'm going to tell you something like this. If you have not touched a place inside of yourself where you understand your own morality, you are not ready to come from under organized religion. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. That is the one thing that I say organized religion has the power to do, is it puts restrictions on people who will not do that for themselves. It's just like being, a kid that need a babysitter when you're in that transitory period. Do you need a babysitter, or are you mature enough to stay by yourself? You are right there in that spot. And it's about what choices you make that you understand if you're going to elevate, ascend, awake, graduate, whatever you want to call it, versus staying drinking milk, somebody else holding your bottle for you. As a woman, I understand what I'm looking at. And then as a spiritual person, as a person who is gifted, I also on a deeper level, understand what I'm looking at. And that's what I want to address in these last 5 or so minutes. The majority of people in this world now are starving for love. Starving. I mean, to a degree where there is a love famine. Why everybody's saying, I just want to be loved. I just want to be loved. I have so much love to give. Everybody's searching for it. But because they feel so starved of it, people are holding on to what they could be given and waiting on somebody to come and just give them everything, give them everything, give them everything. And there are, when I look at most people, all I see is a black hole that will suck the freaking life out of anybody who gets close enough to it to get pulled in. We have women who want to be married, but you aren't even married and committed to yourself. How do I know that? Because you know, at the end of the day, you can pop and all this for everybody else and your friends, and you on social media and you on videos, and you all good and you Gucci and you all that. You can pop and do all that you want to do, but I see you. When all of these people quit watching, on the inside is just a miserable loneliness. It's still like, I'm so with her husband, her boyfriend, this person, that person. But right now, I got a headache. My feet are hurting. There's nobody here. Nobody's cooking my food. You get on social media, sometimes you see these couples and you see their pictures and you see their stories and you're like, well, nobody's doing that for me. And you wonder why. And you feel like, though you won't admit it, it circulates and it rings inside of you so loudly that they must be better than me. And then you try to argue against the argument. But they not better than me. They not better than me. I should be able to have it too. You start getting bitter. You start getting full of doubt that real love can exist, that you can have this life. And then the more you give up on that, the more you surrender to this, and day by day you become somebody you don't want to be. The way you dress, the way you put on all of this on your face, all of this extra to your hair every day. I'm a wig wearing person. I'm going to tell y'all the truth, because I don't want to do nothing to my hair. If I ain't got on my wig, get my hair in a ponytail. And I wear my hair in a ponytail all the time too. I generally just don't do a lot to my hair because I don't feel the need. When I want to, I will. You know, that type of thing. But it's some of us who that's the only thing we feel like we have that's worth anything. If I can just look good. And you've been looking good 5 years. And you still have not accomplished or gotten anything that you want. You might have gotten a man in your bed for a night or for a week or for a month. You might have moved a man into your home. But I know since you're watching this video up to 17 minutes that you're not happy about it. It's not functioning the way you want it to. You don't feel comfortable knowing that this man, you got him because you the stuff and you the best looking girl in town. You're not comfortable with that because a part of you think all the time, what if somebody better looking come along? What if somebody better looking want him? What if something happened to my face? God forbid I be in a fire, I have a stroke, or your face and your body is a very, very, very fragile thing to base a relationship upon. But you know what, guys? Everything is pushing us toward this surface superficial because you can control easily a woman who has not tapped deep down into the roots of a matter. You can control a woman who is not grounded and who is not balanced, who don't know who she is. You can use the weakness to actually suck all of her life, her energy, all of her power right out of her. And some of you are being pimped and prostituted for your energy because you're not using it. And you're easy to control. You're ungrounded. You don't have a root. So every time the wind blow, you gone whichever way it's blowing. And you can go 7 different directions in a day based upon where you are when the wind blow. And I know you're not happy about it. But until you get real enough to say, I'd rather really have a good life than to pretend that way for other people to try to have somebody laugh at my jokes, have a whole bunch of likes on social media. I want it for real. I want this thing to be real in my life. Until you get there, you are lost. You are lost. Because pretending to be a thing without actually getting the help to become the thing even. If you want to keep your pretenses up or whatever for a season while you get the knowledge and the information, then by all means, keep your pretense up while you get knowledge and information. But to choose to be have an appearance of something that you really aren't is actually detrimental to you. You're going to have to decide one day or another if you're going to have the life or pretend the life. And that's up to you. But I do know that starvation inside of yourself for love, for acceptance, for respect, to be honored. If you don't do it for you first, you will continually run into people who treat you just like you treat you. You will not ever get away from the law of vibration. You will never get away from it. No matter what you do, You can only have what's on the frequency that you're on. So when I look at the women today, I know exactly what I'm looking at because I've been there. I'm not going to preach to you from a position like I'm way up here, because there are days even now where I have that I don't know what to do and I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think, and I'm wondering if I'm missing it. And you know what I do? I go find someone, and not that I have to find someone, I have people in my life. But if I get so low, I go and find the help that I need, because I refuse to ever become a byword. I don't want to just be, yeah, I'm all that and I'm all this. And as soon as I hit end, I'm miserable. I'm crying my pillow out. So I know what fake look like. And these days it ain't hard to tell, because people are putting 10 and 20 and $30,000 into their face, their body, and everything else, and they don't want to spend $10 on a book that can change their life. They ain't gonna spend $1,800 on a program that helps them deprogram. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you're doing all of this for love and for acceptance. And it's people who don't look half as good as you, who not half as smart as you, who don't have half of the things you have. They got everything that you want. Can't you see it? Can't you see it? I have been through more pain than I ever care to talk about in one setting. And almost all of it self-inflicted. Now, what happened to me as a kid? Yes, that happened. And it was bad, okay? But it's only so long that you can use your past, where you come from, what you didn't get as a child, as an excuse. Eventually, my loves, eventually, you have to say, what was then had nothing to do with me. I couldn't change none of that. I couldn't do nothing about that. But what happens now, that's in my dominion. This is my territory. This is under my authority. And I'm not going to have this in my life forever. If you refuse chaos, chaos can't be. Because you are, to a degree, the God of your life. You are a co-creator with our divine creator. And he's given you everything you need, everything that pertains to life and godliness. You already have it. What you create with this life you're living, that's your gift back to him. And that's also your gift to yourself. Some of us been waiting forever for God to just come in and snatch us all the way up out of a bad situation. Like, just snatch us all the way up out of it. Get me up out of here. No. He can't violate your realm of dominion, even if you beg him to. Because it's not about him snatching you up out of that. It's about you learning to pull yourself out of that, because he's already given you his power to do it with. When I look at my people, and I see all this pain and all these mistakes trying to be loved, I wonder, like, why are they so afraid to go within? I understand how bad it can hurt. I remember when I went through my period of time when I had to sit and face all of my mistakes. And Lord, I spent so many days crying about it, okay? And I spent so many days praying about it. I went through the stage of trying to beg God to forgive me. I went through the stage of trying to beg myself to forgive me. I went through all my stages, but at the end of my stages was healing. Okay? And when I found healing, I paid attention to what was done, and that's what caused me to launch into your healing partner coaching and all of that, because I realized that the process, it don't last forever. It feel like it do. When you hurting, every moment feels like a year. It's like 1 minute in pain felt like a whole year of your life, but I promise you it's not. And when you get through hurting, though, you are through hurting. And what a lot of people don't realize is when you try not to feel it, you are prolonging how long you're going to feel it. Because even trying not to feel something is feeling it. You are running from pain because you're in pain. And so you're running. And so the pain is not going anywhere. When you turn around and you stand that thing in the face, it's no different than if a lot of you like, I ain't going to let nobody punk me. You ready to fight in a minute. We'll fight a man. I'm like that. I don't care who you are. You get in my face, me and you gonna go at it. That's just me. Okay, but I was running from my mind, my own pain, my own heart, running from something that's not as physically dangerous. But when you turn around and face that thing, and I'm not backing down. I have a saying that I started with my son because he was something else when I was raising him. I was like, one of us gonna break. It's gonna be you or it's gonna be me, and I can guarantee you it's not gonna be me. It's something about when you make a determination not to let something break you, it won't. You can make a determination today to change your life, and you can, and you will. You can make a determination today that you're going to honor yourself and love yourself better. That's not going to always feel good. That's not going to guarantee that tomorrow you're going to be married once you make the determination. This is not a rush toward whatever it is you think going to make you happy, because if you don't get this right, it don't matter what you get. It's not going to make you happy. And a lot of us are begging for good men, and you're not a good woman. You're begging for a good woman. You're not a good man. Why do I say that? It's not because you're so bad, but you're unhealed. And people that are hurt and people who have all this baggage on their back, they will hurt other people. It's unavoidable. You don't have any business searching outside of yourself for someone else if you have not found first yourself. If you have not made peace with you and fell in love with you, then you cannot really love nobody else. All you can do is use them. And that's what a lot of us are doing. We are using people up. I mean, we are a world full of people that are hurting each other, and it's just going from hell to hell. The solution is sit down with you. Do you like being called a bitch? Do you like being called a hoe? Do you like even using that terminology? Do you like fighting, cussing, arguing? Do you like the job that you're at? Do you like the business that you own? Do you like the people in your life? Do you like yourself? These are questions you need to know the answer to. Why are you here? And if you don't know that, what do you want to be here for? What do you feel drawn to? What is your passion? What makes you happy? You need to ask yourself these questions. Get answers. If it take you 6 months, if it take you 6 years, get your answers. And when you get your answers, you'll have everything else you want, because all of a sudden your vibrations will increase and there will be no way for you to miss what is indeed for you. Guys, I love you. Let me just encourage you guys, because I'm going to come back to this topic again in further videos in the future, near future. But I want to encourage you to get my ebook download on Amazon Kindle called The Path to Oneness. That is such a powerful book. It talks about the 12 principles I use in my coaching practice, and it breaks it down so that you don't have to buy the $1,800 package. You can actually work through this thing at home. And also 31 thoughts that lead to peace with the affirmations. I can promise you, like I said before, and I'll say it again, if you go through them 31 days and your life don't change, you can have your money back. You can hit me up, and you got it on by proof on video. So what do you have to lose? If you can go spend $5,000 on your outer self, surely you can spend 15 on your inner self. Guys, be blessed. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and I will see you next time.